Hi everyone, there are 2 additional quotations that you need to add in for question 3. So if you'll be so kind as to go to the bottom of page 11. Okay, bottom of page 11. And please highlight for me where it says walking up and down. The second last paragraph, last line. Second last paragraph. Walking up and down in the greatest agitation. Look at the choice of words. Now he's agitated. Okay, this answers question 3 as well. Walking up and down in the greatest agitation, listening attentively, catching and fearing each sound as if it were there, as if it were to announce the approach of the demoniacal corpse to which I had so miserably given life. So this corpse that becomes his life's work, because basically this monster he creates becomes his life's work, all right? And then he rejects it, okay? And that's when we start to show sympathy then for the monster more so than Frankenstein. Right, if you turn to page 12, at the top of page 12, and it's the first sentence. I had gazed on him while unfinished. He was ugly then, but when those muscles and joints were rendered capable of motion, it became a thing such as even Dante could not have conceived. Dante's Inferno, here we go, is about hell. All right. So looking upon his creation was like it was hellish. All right. It was like a demon coming to life. And he now had to take responsibility for having created this monster. And that's what he didn't want. Okay. So what was he expecting? So he's disillusioned. Okay? He's disillusioned, all right? Because Dr. Frankenstein wanted accolades. You know what an accolade is? What's an accolade? Someone tell me? Everyone's going, yeah, we know, but okay, what's another word? Come on. Accolades. Recognition. Thank you. Good. Accolades, recognition. Right. He wanted recognition for what he'd done, but he certainly didn't want recognition for this kind of monster. So he's disillusioned about his own work. Okay. Then, to answer question 3 further, skip the next sentence, and in that second paragraph, highlight. Sometimes my pulse beat so quickly and hardly that I felt the palpitation of every artery. Right, that answers some of question 2 as well, doesn't it? Physical reaction. Okay. I felt the palpitation of every artery. Who else do you think was feeling the palpitation of every artery? His creation. Do you see how magnificently this is written when you go in with your magnifying glass and you then look at exactly every single word and what was the intention behind it? Okay. At others, I nearly sank to the ground through languor and extreme weakness. Right. If you are languorous, right, almost like similar to the lethargy. No energy. Energyless. Mingled with this horror, highlight, I felt the bitterness of disappointment. Right, so that's another reaction. So we have horror and disgust. If you go back to page 19 in your study guide, to answer question 3, horror and disgust, forgetfulness, disturbed, the nightmares, the physical reactions, the insomnia for question 2. And now he mentions as well, I felt the bitterness of disappointment. So he felt that he'd not just disappointed himself, but that he had disappointed the scientific community and ultimately the world. Now, can you imagine taking all of that responsibility on your shoulders? What's it going to drive you to do what? Take yourself out. Okay, so you're going that way now. So he was like, I'm a genius, I know it all, I'm an expert up here, elated. And when he's disappointed in his creation, he drops the other way, becomes depressed and doesn't want anything to do with him, etc. Okay. Right, then also highlight for me in the 4th paragraph, I continued walking in this manner for some time, endeavoring by bodily exercise to ease the load that weighed upon my mind. So that tells us it's affecting him mentally. So far we know it's affected him emotionally, spiritually, how else? Physically, okay? Familiarly, we know that he's been isolated from his family. You know, okay, it tells us that, where his family is concerned. Skip the next sentence and go on then to my heart palpitated in the sickness of fear. So the fear engulfs him so completely that it becomes like a disease. So he is not just disgusted or repulsed by this monster, he's also fearful of this monster because he realizes his strength and he realizes the destructive force that he may be unleashing on the world. Who would want to take responsibility for that? And in the end, he has to. Okay, where his wife is concerned, etc. Okay, Simone's still fighting with me about that. I remember. Okay, all right. Now, just there's a note at the bottom here about the ancient mariner. I have a copy of it, and I'll show you. And it's there. Where is it? There we go. Right. These lines are important. Okay. Again, Mary Shelley was writing amongst contemporaries. What is a contemporary? What is a contemporary writer? Or a contemporary poet? Or a contemporary singer? Someone else who's writing with you in the same period, in the same era, would be your contemporary. Okay, so we know that one of Shakespeare's contemporaries was Christopher Marlowe. Okay, right. So your contemporary, so one of Mary Shelley's contemporaries at the time was Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Now they only give you the surname there, Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Right. And he writes a poem called The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. Okay. It's called The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. Okay. I'm going to leave this up here as well and just read this section to you. The longest major poem by the English poet Samuel Taylor Coleridge. We don't need to know when it was written. But go to the second paragraph. The Rime of the Ancient Mariner relates the experience of a sailor who has returned from a long sea voyage. The mariner stops a man who is on the way to a wedding ceremony and begins to narrate a story. The wedding guest's reaction turns from bemusement to impatience to fear to fascination as the mariner's story progresses, as can be seen in the language style. Coleridge uses narrative techniques such as personification and repetition to create a sense of danger, the supernatural. That's what we're dealing with. Do you see there? Samuel Taylor Coleridge is writing a poem that involves the supernatural. Dr. Frankenstein, which Mary Shelley writes, involves the supernatural. So that's the link here. Okay. Or serenity, depending on the mood in different parts of the poem. Now, I'm not going to give you this because I'm reading it to you now. You can source this online. Okay. The Mariner's Tale begins. Now, this is important because this section of this poem has actually been used in more than one other literary text, not just in Mary Shelley's section of her text. Okay. And it's very famous. Does anyone know the Rime of the Ancient Mariner? Anyone? No? Okay. All right. Stick around. Stick around. By grade 12, you'll be going, oh, yeah, that. Yeah, no. Been there, done that. Okay. The Mariner's Tale begins with his ship departing on its journey. Despite initial good fortune, the ship is driven south by a storm and eventually reaches Antarctic waters. An albatross. Okay. Now, this is the symbolism in this poem. An albatross appears and leads them out of the ice jam where they are stuck. But even as the albatross is praised by the ship's crew, the mariner shoots the bird. Right. And then what happens is the crew is angry with the mariner, right? Because what did they believe? That the albatross brought the south wind. Aha! So we know the story. Okay. So now they're going, it was written back here. So Whoever put it in a different form should actually have quoted Samuel Taylor Coleridge. You're right, whatever form you've seen it in. Okay. And I'd like you to share with me now what form you've seen it in. Okay. Yeah. Believing the albatross brought the south wind that led them out of the Antarctic. Right. So they soon find that they made a grave mistake in supporting this crime, as it arouses the wrath of spirits who then pursue the ship. Okay. From the land of mist and snow, it says in the poem. The south wind that had initially led them from the land of ice now sends the ship into uncharted waters near the equator, where it is becalmed. Okay, so what is all of this? Superstitious. It's superstition, okay? And they then take the albatross as a symbol of something, and then it represents something else in the end. Is it a listening comprehension? I know that one very well. I've used it before. It's very good. It talks about the albatross and the span and the wings. And okay, no, very well. Okay. Okay, that one. Okay. Now, the last little bit. Interesting. The crew forces the mariner to wear the dead albatross around his neck. It's a bit cruel, okay? Perhaps to illustrate the burden he must suffer from killing it, or perhaps as a sign of regret. Okay. So it's quite a rough poem, but we're dealing with a lot of rough texts, so don't be surprised if you've got a rough poem stuck in a rough text. Okay. This poem, at the bottom, if you look at the bottom of page 12, there we go. There's a little section that is quoted that comes from the poem that I've just told you about now. Okay. All right. Let's move on to question 5, and I'm going to do that in the next clip. Right. I try to make these clips as digestible as possible. All right.